Hi, lovely people. Welcome once again. It's your usual host, Benedict, and you're welcome back to the Urban Life. In this episode, we're looking at something very important. Quite often, we tend to forget a lot of things, information. Even during academic work or in school, we forget so many things. Have you thought about how to exercise your brain, how to make your cognitive function work very well, and then how to make sure you are always active when it comes to your brain and how it works? Without wasting much time, let's look at improving your brain and your cognitive function, improving your brain and how you think. Watson said. So now this can be achieved through so many things and activities. We've chosen to highlight a few in this episode. The first one we are looking at is regular exercises. We know how beneficial exercises are to our system and then our survival as humans. Exercises get you active, they make you alert, and it's also a very good exercise for cognitive function. Right. So you shouldn't joke with your exercises. Be as active as you can. At least some 30 minutes, 15 minutes exercises 3 or 4 times a week will go a long way to assist with cognitive function and the overall health as a person. The next one we are looking at is healthy diet. You are what you eat. You should eat well, you should eat a balanced diet, and we should always make sure what we are eating wouldn't cause so much harm to us. Definitely, there's always the positive and negative side of everything, but we should make sure the positive sides of what we eat outweigh the negative sides. Much often, we do have the urge to eat all sorts of things, but the best way you can survive, the best way you can make your system and your brain active is to eat what is beneficial to your system as a person. And each system is unique. You need to know yourself, you need to know your allergies, and you need to know the type of food that suits you as a person. The third one we are looking at is adequate sleep. Some of us are night owls, which I'm a victim. I really don't sleep early, sometimes 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and I still have to wake up early in the morning and go about my daily activities. This is not a healthy habit and doesn't help brain function. The best way to, tackle this is to plan very well. But there are times that you can do less about this. You have to stay up and get things done. It happens. We are humans and we cannot be perfect all the time. But most of the time, let's try as much as possible to have some good sleep. For instance, myself, when I stress, sometimes I can go days sleeping less than 4 or 5 hours for days. But I choose a day or two that I really get in lock in and sleep. That can also help. But the best way is to have at least a minimum of 6 hours. A maximum, I think, is between 6 to 8 hours a night as an adult. Let's try our best to, make that happen. And that's going to help us. You feel refreshed all the time, and that helps in cognitive function as well. Now, let's look at the most important of all of this, which is stress management. How do you manage stress? How do you stay away from getting stressed? And how do you live a balanced life? With this, you need to manage your time well. You need to rest when tired, and you don't need to over push yourself or overdo things. When you are tired, when you are stressed, or when you don't even feel like doing something, you don't force it at all. And make sure you follow time and do things with time. That's the only way you can manage stress. And you shouldn't overthink as well. Once you overthink, you stress the brain. Things you cannot control, I don't think you should worry your head about them. And then handle things you can control. So these are the four main, I mean, things you are looking at when it comes to the lifestyle changes. Now let's look at some mental exercises you can also do when it comes to cognitive and then making the cognitive function and then making the brain work well. You have brain games and puzzles. There are so many puzzles and brain games that you can, do or take on. We have the, I think chess is a good example. We have crosswords and other things you can do, right? So brain games and puzzles help a lot with the mental exercises. Learning new skills. As humans, once we see something new, we're enthused about them. So learning new skills boost your adrenaline. It makes you so happy and excited, and that helps your brain function as well. Because learning something new gives you the edge to continue to know more, and that also exercises your brain and your cognitive function. Now, the third one is reading and critical thinking. Reading is very, very important in our lives. I know sometimes it's boring to read, but we should always get in, stuck in, and then read some pages a day. At least 2 or 3 pages a day will go a long way to exercise your brain and your cognitive function, as well as critical thinking. We should be problem solvers, right? We should always look at problems we should see problems as, an opportunity to think and then exercise the brain. That's also one way, and that's also a very active way of exercising our brain and ensuring our cognitive function is working very, very well. Now, let's look at certain strategies to improve memory, how to memorize stuff. This, especially those who are schooling, PAs, office staff, and people in the corporate world. How do you memorize stuff? One, you can look at repetition and rehearsal. You can say certain words and sentences out loud to yourself if you can, or continuously repeat them so that you can commit them into memory. That helps. The second one is association and visualization. You should be able to associate topics and issues and visualize them, and that also helps in, I mean, keeping or memorizing stuff. The next one is organization and structure. You should be able to organize and structure information, and that makes it easy to commit them into memory as well. And the last one is mnemonics. Find acronyms for certain words, certain sentences, or certain phrases. Finding acronyms for them makes it easy to remember, makes it easy to pronounce them, and it also brings easier understanding, sort of, in most of the cases. So now, next on this episode again, we are looking at some additional tips to keep your brain active. Stay mentally active by engaging with others, discussing important topics, and things that urge you to and then think broad. Those are the things you should be discussing, not things that are unprofitable to you as a person or to your group or to the community you find yourself in. We have social engagement, as I've said, you should interact. And that also keeps your brain active. And you should manage technology use. You shouldn't be on phone all the time. You shouldn't be with your laptop all the time. You should at least time yourself and sometimes take other activities aside these tools that we use all the time. I hope this has been helpful so far, and this information will go a long way to impact our lives. Once again, thanks for being with us. And as usual, I'm Benedict. We hope to hear from you in the comment section. Like our videos and share them as well. Thank you.